Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. It's your girl Maria Milagros here. And as I told you previously, during the month of April, I'm going to bring you videos on building your confidence. Today I want to talk about specifically self-forgiveness and how that applies to confidence. So when we are carrying around unforgiveness, especially for ourselves, it is like a weight that we are carrying on our shoulders. And while we're on our journey, if we're dragging all this excess weight with us, it literally bogs you down. So it literally does something to you physically, it does something to your immune system, it does something to you mentally, spiritually, and so on. When we are able to remove that weight, we're literally able to stand up taller, we feel better, we project better, and that is where true self-confidence comes from. It comes from this internal place of knowing whose you are and who you are, right? And part of that is recognizing that you are in fact on a journey, and that during the course of your journey, you made some mistakes. There were some things that you did that you said to yourself, I can't believe I just did that. We've all been there. We've all done that. And part of what you have to do is recognize that you are, in fact, imperfect. You see, God has created a good work in you that He will perfect. So our job is to just keep striving for better every single day, to stay connected to Him and to keep striving to be better than we were yesterday. Recognizing that when we knew better, we do better, right? Or when we know better, we do better. Yeah. So for the most part, most people really do the best they can with what they know how. And sometimes that means when you're hurt, you hurt other people. Sometimes that means when you're broken, you break other people. Sometimes that means when you're in a bad place, you want other people to be in a bad place. And that's not okay, and that doesn't justify, but it does explain why people do the things that they do and why they sometimes hurt other people. So here's my suggestion. If you have an opportunity to make it right, please go do that. If there's something that you did, a mistake that you made, and you feel like you have an opportunity to go to that person and to remedy it, absolutely. Now, I say that with a disclaimer. Do not put yourself in a situation that is not safe or unhealthy. Sometimes in our attempt, in our need to get closure, we set ourselves up and put ourselves in positions that just we don't need to be in. So recognize the intent and really spend some time praying about that, some like real time considering through prayer whether or not that's an avenue you need to take in order to have closure. Because if not, confessing it to God and recognizing that He is faithful and He will forgive us, it has to be enough, rather than put ourselves in a situation that might be harmful. The other thing that you could do is you could write a letter and mail it to no one. Don't put any names on it. Just write a letter and mail it. Just get it out of you. I know people who have written letters and then had a little bonfire and burned it, right? Just give it back to the atmosphere, give it back to the universe, give it back to God. Like, I'm done with carrying around that excess weight. When we walk around with unforgiveness for things that we've done, mistakes that we've made because we're imperfect and because we're just regular people, when we walk around like that, it literally bogs us down. And when we're able to release ourselves of all of those things, we can stand up taller. We can stay connected to whose we are and who we are. And when we do that, that's what real true confidence comes from, right? That's like freedom and surrender, and confidence comes from that place of forgiveness and release. So again, there's a scripture that says if we confess our sins, God is faithful and He will forgive us. So recognize that you are already forgiven. You just have to confess it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be to another person, although it can be to a pastor, to a therapist, to a friend you trust. It could be writing in a letter. It could just be saying it out loud between you and God, having that confessional time. There's this really great quote that I found by Shannon Yvette Tanner. And she says, "Forgive yourself. You are not perfect. Show yourself grace. You are still learning. Show yourself patience. You are on a journey." So I just think that that's so great, because it reminds us that we're not perfect. We are perfect in God's eyes, but we are not perfect, and we have to forgive ourselves for the fact that we're not perfect. It reminds us that we have to extend grace to ourselves because we're still learning. And again, when we know better, we do better, right? And we have to remind ourselves to be patient with ourselves. Just like we would anyone else, we're still learning as the process goes along and on the way of the journey. And again, when we know better, we should be doing better. If we mess up even then, we have to be able to forgive ourselves and move forward, recognizing that you did that to serve a need. It doesn't justify, it doesn't make it okay. You remedy it where you can, and then as soon as you can, pick up your pieces, get it together and move forward, because that is what really helps create that confidence that just kind of comes out of you, right? I've forgiven myself. I recognize that I'm not perfect. As soon as I make a mistake, I try to call myself out. I ask for forgiveness, whether they forgive me or not. I know my heart, and then you move forward. You have to move forward, right? So that's part of the thing that contributes to true, lasting self-confidence. So that is your nugget for today. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you want more of these and you want one in your mailbox every week, hit the subscribe button. You can check out my website if you haven't already and sign up for my monthly newsletter. It comes once a month, and then I send out the weekly videos with updates of events and things that I have going on. And share. If you know someone who could benefit from this, share the video. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend, a fantastical weekend. And when we are able to fully forgive ourselves and live in a place of true self-confidence, super sparkly every time. Super sparkly every day. Am I going to do the snake every time I do the super sparkly everything? Super sparkly everything. Like, what year am I from? Cabbage Patch. You can tell. I just aged myself. Supersonic. No, super sparkly. All right, y'all. Love you. Bye-bye.